how we're starting this thing off. It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house, solo hosting this show today. Well, me and Gina in the studio today. And you know what? This is a big day. A lot of news to cover. We got some volatility from crypto markets. Bitcoin is bouncing around 112, 115. Altcoin season is seemingly heating up. Now, is it going to take off? We're starting to see out of the gates. Altcoin season is progressively coming closer and closer. It's almost here. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. And when I said give you my thoughts on altcoin season, what are going to be my favorite 3 picks for altcoin season? We got T-minus 3.5 months before the end of the year. What projects do I think are going to be the biggest winners over the next 3.5 months by the end of the year? I'll tell you my favorite 3 altcoin picks. One's going to be a doozy. The other 2, well, sound reasoning behind them, but one's a little more speculative. Also, got a lot coming out of Congress, or at least out of the U.S., on progressive crypto legislation. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about some cool commercials out there. A lot of Bitcoin ideologies coming out today. I got a lot of Bitcoin stuff to share with you. Bitcoin, so it's going to be like a mix today. It's going to be like Bitcoin and altcoins. The reason I'm bringing in a lot of Bitcoin news is because, well, the normies they're drinking a Kool-Aid. But either way, let's run another animation, and then we'll come back to it. I'm back. I am back. Here it is. All right, so today's show, we're gonna dive deep into the markets. So there's been a lot of volatility over the last 7 days, right? I mean, you look at Bitcoin's down 6% on the 7 days. So right here on the week, we put in a new all-time high on Bitcoin just 7 days ago. Let that sink in. If you think that the altcoin market is, we're going into a bear market, altcoins are not performing well, just keep in mind, Bitcoin put in a new all-time high 7 days ago. I understand that our crypto community wants up and to the right, and God bless, man. We pull back for 6 days, and it's like the end of the world is here. I mean, fear and greed index is plummeting fast. It's just so funny, man. We were at 73 yesterday in greed, and a week ago we put in new all-time high. Never seen $124,000 Bitcoin ever, and now a week later everyone's freaking out. We're down 6%. Pretty funny. But you know who's probably freaking out? It's the traders. If there's anybody in the community, it's got to be the traders, because people are getting wrecked out here. They're losing money. They are losing money quick. Just in the past hour from when they posted this, 1 hour, we got $50 million worth of trades liquidated. That's $50 million of just some degenerate, stupid ass leverage plays. My God, put some stop losses on. ETH's at 35 million, totaling a $98 million, $1/10 billion in an hour. Gone, just like that. It feeds right back into the exchanges, the crypto exchanges. They're doing good this morning. Also, if you want to take a look here, just more on a wide scale preview. So in 12 hours, we've had $100 million worth of Ethereum liquidated. And then BTC, $70 million. People are trading ETH over here. There's a lot of ETH positions, a lot of ETH shorts. I mean, look at that, man. 12 hours, $100 million, dude. But It's not all red, because you look over here on the 24 hours, people are making money on ETH. We got $173 million of realized gains out of ETH. So smart money's in here too. Let's not all freak out about it. But let's see here. Take a look. So over the last 24 hours, we've had $427 million worth of liquidations. So anyways, let's get into some other, let's see here. I had one other thing. So it's not all doom and gloom on Bitcoin as far as its trend. I know we're at 7 days of downward price action on Bitcoin. It's a long time, a whole 7 days. But bullish RSI divergence on Bitcoin on the 1 hour candles. This is per our friend of the channel, Caleb here. He's signaling a reversal on the RSI while Bitcoin's price is reaching a critical support, which was 112. Looks like this might have been a nice little bounce there. So honestly, yesterday I was a little bit concerned on the short-term price action for Bitcoin. I was just kind of, I was feeling out the market today. I think that, the fact that we're holding support here at that 114, the fact that we didn't get this large move to the downside, I know on the 1 week it doesn't look good. However, I feel very confident that we're not going to go under 110. I don't think we'll go under 112. Now, we did briefly get to 112 and some change here a couple hours ago. So we did test it. So I'm not saying it's not on the table, but I think from my personal experience, coming off of a previous all-time high just earlier this week, I think that we're going to bounce back from where we're at right at this current moment. So I think going into the weekend, we'll see a breakout in Bitcoin. Also, stock market is taking some punches today. And so when you take a look, you do got the NASDAQ down almost a full percent, which pretty big move out of the stock market or the indices. When you get these full percentage moves, this was down a whole percent earlier today, so a little bit of a bounce back. But you can see here, NASDAQ is down 4% since the 13th. Now, why is this important? Down 4% since the 13th. Well, that's the 13th is when we printed an all-time high on Bitcoin. So, we always keep an eye on the stock market and talk about particularly in NASDAQ, and, well, for just cause, because there's a lot of correlation there. Now, what would make the NASDAQ reverse? What would make the NASDAQ, go bullish again? Because I think in the same way that NASDAQ pulled back since the 13th, Bitcoin all-time high, when we see a reversal here, probably see a reversal and an uptick on Bitcoin, get back into price discovery. And, well, some bigs coming down the pipeline. Do you guys know what Friday is? Do you know what Friday is? Friday, well, of course, end of the week. My favorite day of the week, by the way. But Friday is the Fed meeting at the Jackson Hole. So it's the Jackson Hole. It's the giant annual event that the Fed gets together with all of the who's who of monetary policies and banks, and basically it's the big privilege party shows up. They go have cocktails, and a lot of hookers show up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like go research hookers and Jackson Hole. It's it's like the Super Bowl of hookery, and they just congregate there. It's the biggest players there. But Jackson Hole everyone's going to be looking at what Jerome Powell has to say. There's been some unfavorable inflation job numbers coming out, and there's been an expectation that we're going to see a Fed rate cut. And I think that the market is anticipating that Jerome Powell might keep rates where they're at. The CME is saying, no, rate cuts are coming. Everyone's kind of expecting a rate cut to come. And if it doesn't, the markets are going to react negatively. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think the markets are front running some bad Jackson Hole news. I think that's what we're seeing. So our eyes will be glued to what we see on Friday. But I have a feeling that Jerome Powell is not going to be as bearish as people think they are. At some point, the dude's got to flip his stance. A lot of people are going to be counting on him. Now, think about this. You're going to be in Jackson Hole, and you're going to be like, hey, I'm having a good time. I'm hanging out with all my buddies. Everyone there is hoping that the man takes the mic and says, hey, look, we're going to cut rates. We're thinking about cutting rates. Very likely to cut rates. Everyone wants him to say that, and he's pulling up like, the quarterback at, the high school homecoming, And so everyone's like, hey, man, what's up, dude? He's the most popular kid there. He gets in front of the mic. Everyone wants him to say it. I think he's going to take the podium. I think he's going to say that rates are coming. Rates are coming down. Cuts are coming. That's what I think. And I think that the markets are anticipating currently a negative meeting. And I think we're going to get the opposite. And so, either way, it's going to be a lot of volatility. It's going to be fun. It's like this. If you're a trader, you're probably looking forward to it. Scared money ain't gonna play. It's like when the hurricanes or tsunami or typhoon, whatever the hell, maybe a super blood moon, whatever the hell brings them big ass waves, right? They tell you don't go in the water, but the professionals come out, the surfers come out, the ones that don't give a damn. They got there trying to catch the biggest wave possible. Life or death. That's what's going to happen this weekend. The traders are going to come out. Scared money ain't going to touch it. They were like, Jackson Hole, rate cuts, crypto, can't do it. Professionals are going to go out there. They're going to front run it. They're going to get ready. They're going to paddle out. They're going to ride them big ass wave and going to make some profits. They'll leverage trade their way into millions of dollars. Now, I do want to show, where's my video? I got a pretty badass video. I want to remind you, the dollar sucks. Money's doo-doo. It's no good. Why do I say that? Well, if you're in crypto, you're watching this, you probably already know. I'm not going to tell you anything different. A lot of money printing, a lot of ass going on. Like, it's just, here. This one's been going viral. Kenneth Rogoff. I'm not sure how to say his last name. Probably butchered it. But either way, Kenneth. So I was going to read this here. It's interesting. Almost a decade ago, I was a Harvard economist that said that Bitcoin was more than likely going to be worth $100 versus $100,000. So 10 years ago, where was price of Bitcoin 10 years ago? Let's take a look. Let's go down memory lane. So, 10 years ago, Bitcoin was $300. So, it's not that bad of a call, man. I'll be honest with you. You're looking at a $300 Bitcoin, and you're like, all right, what's more likely? It get to $100 or go to 100,000 in 10 years? Obviously, we know where the price ended up going. But you know what? A lot of people have thrown shade at my boy Kenneth here. But anyways, let's go on. He said, what did I miss? I was far too optimistic about the U.S. coming to its senses about sensible cryptocurrency regulation. Why would policymakers want to facilitate tax evasion on illegal activities? Second, I did not appreciate how Bitcoin would compete with fiat currencies to serve as a transactions medium of choice in the $20 trillion global underground economy. Now, he's still in this underground economy. Now, majority of transactions are now facilitated between individuals just simply transacting, sending money. But Either way, this demand puts a floor on its price, as I discussed in length in my new book. He's promoting his book. That's why you sent out this. You didn't want to admit that you were wrong. You wanted to plug your book. Shame on you. You didn't learn the first time, but either way. Third, he did not appreciate a situation where regulators, and especially the regulator in chief, would be able to brazenly hold hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, in cryptocurrency without any consequence. Now, a lot of shade in here, a lot of plugging his own book. I was wrong, but but let me explain why I'm wrong on my book. Yes. Anyways, hey, watch this video. This one's pretty good, man. It's a good video. Check this out.
America's gold was supposed to back the dollar. Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. You know, kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home, father worked, and we ate together every night. Didn't realize how good we had it. After the World War, they promised gold-backed dollars, but they broke that promise. They printed paper backed by nothing, funded wars we couldn't afford and shouldn't have been involved in. But France caught on and sent a warship to get back their gold. Truth is, if more countries followed, our vaults would be empty and game over.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.
Turns out, when you fake the money, everything else follows, and you screw the next generation over. And it snowballs, kid. Prices shot up, paychecks didn't, life got tougher, and nobody knew why. We tried raising our kids the old way, but we didn't have the time or the money.
So you outsourced parenting?
Yeah, I guess you could say we did. Government schools raised them, and the TV taught them bad morals. They learned debt, not savings. Bought houses they couldn't afford. Played video games, gambling, antidepressants, and crimes. Families fractured. Divorce rates doubled. Birth rates plummeted. Things got so bad, people started financing Chipotle.
Financing a burrito?
Yeah, it's getting bad. Obesity, people eating cheap slop instead of real food. We got softer, sicker, and lazier. A nation in decline. But it didn't happen overnight. When Nixon left the gold standard, we traded sound money for a lifetime of debt.
How will they ever pay it back?
I don't think they plan to. Both sides keep spending like there's no tomorrow and leaving the bill to your generation. We didn't get it right, but you've still got a chance. So, take the reins, kid. Hold your ground and don't give up on sound money.
All right. What a video. Wow. What a video. You know, there's a lot to unpack there. You know, my biggest takeaway is that, you know, I think every day, you know, we make some reference to politics here. We try not to be a political show, but, you know, the reality of it is that to get to where we want to go, the United States, particularly institutions, so your corporate, your companies out here are going to want to offer crypto services, right? Or at least save money by using an alternative to banking methods. And so, you know, you got to have a framework for it, right? You can't just create a banking system and not have some kind of backstops, right? You got to have, the government has to say, hey, if this fails, what are we going to do? What do you guys, you know, it's like any other business, right? You got to be up to fire code. If you're running a restaurant, you got to be up to health code. You got the health department comes in. And so it's no different in finance, right? You gotta make sure that what you're implementing for millions of people is not going to fail. And the reality of it is there's always going to be failure. So there's going to be points of failure. So you need to address what happens and what are you doing and what are the backstops. And so government's going to be a part of crypto. You can live in this decentralized fantasy land, but the reality of it is that the U.S. government and governments around the world are going to be an integral part of crypto. You can say, hey, it's all about decentralization. Man, I got the power. I got my own. Like, let's cut the crap. Politics are here. They're integrated into crypto, whether you like it or not. So we're going to talk about it. Now, with that said, there is no heroes here. There is no fix-all. There's no perfect candidate. And I know that just in general, when it comes to politics, in particular here in the U.S., it's one side or the other. It's, hey, you know what? It's all the Democrats' fault. It's all the Republicans' fault. And this president's going to change everything. And like, the reality is that are at its core, our monetary system is broken. It's the fuel to the economy. It's the fuel to your job. It's the fuel to the cost of goods. It's the fuel to living. And it's the backbone of everything in our society. And so that's broken. And so it doesn't matter who gets elected next as the next president. It doesn't matter who's elected the following president or who controls Congress. The money is broken. It's been broken since Nixon. And the fact is that we have a government that just prints money out of thin air. And there's nothing to back it. It used to be backstopped by gold. And that is gone. That's the moral of the story here. And so for me, there is no savior. Now, I can look at one candidate versus the other. I can look at Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. Who is going to be better for crypto? It's Donald Trump. I don't agree with everything he says. I'm not over here touting Donald Trump as the greatest person ever. But from hey, I run a crypto business, I'm looking at candidate A, hates crypto. Candidate B is like, hey, let's make some money. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going with him. But don't get it fooled. Nothing here is working. The dollar is broken. The economy is broken. Things are getting more expensive. And the fact is that we look at inflation and we say, it's not 10%, it's 2%. Well, hey, if you take an annualized 2%, you lose half of your purchasing power over the course of 50 years. That means over your lifetime of saving money, you'll lose half of the money that you saved. $1 million in the 80s is worth over twice the amount it is now. So if you saved $1 million, you worked your entire life to save $1 million, and you pass that $1 million down to your grandkids in the form of a savings account, some trust or whatever it is, and they receive $1 million, it ain't shit now. And so that's what we are here for. Because our president, he can come out here and say all the most bullish things about crypto, but the economy's broken. The debt is out of control. And, well, it's not going to get any better. And so if you want to take control of your finances, well, that's what crypto is. So the moral of the story is that more and more people are realizing that the money's broken. Because when Bitcoin first started, when that economist out of Harvard, when Kenneth said, hey, I see the Bitcoin going to $100 before 100,000, he had belief that the U.S. economy was going to do well. And that belief was incorrect. And so ask yourself, how many people will wake up to this idea? It's going to be everyone eventually. Eventually, when inflation keeps running its course and a car costs $100,000, when your Toyota Camry costs $100,000, it sounds kind of cocky-mamie, sounds kind of crazy. But when, how much does a Toyota Camry cost right now? Like $25,000? Toyota Camry used to cost $5,000. I don't know if that particular model did, but a new car used to cost $5,000. The entry-level car was $5,000. 25, 30 years later, that same car now costs $25,000. So a $25,000 car is going to be 5 times the price it is now. It's going to be $100,000. And do you think that your wages will keep up? Do you think if you make $60,000 that you'll make $300,000, $300,000 annualized in that same time period? No, you're probably going to make 120. You'll probably make 110,000. And everyone will talk about how great of a job you got, but you can't even afford a Toyota Camry. People are going to wake up. People are going to buy crypto. This market cap is going to blow up. And, well, that's where we get to our next segment. Which altcoins are going to be the ones that make you the most money? That's it. People are waking up. People are buying crypto. Institutions are here. Legislation is coming. It all leads back to you're early. And so, we'll take a look at the altcoin markets here in a second. I did want to give a little love to the chat, though. For those of you watching, hosting this show solo today, and because I'm hosting this thing solo, I'd like to give some love to the chat. So for those of you that are watching, drop some questions. We're going to do some Q&As today. I'll pick a couple questions. We're going to go back and forth. And so drop that in the chat. I do see we got Stan, Eugene, Hith in here, Po-Man, Mike. Jason said, I'm looking fresh with this new cut. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you. And then the kid, come on. There's a lot of people in here. So to all of you, hola! Thanks for joining.
I have a question.
What do you have?
Why don't we just print more money?
That's the problem. That's the whole problem. Why don't we just print more money? Someone brought up an example of what happens when you print more money. And it was, if you go to a small town, let's just say there's a population of less than 1,000. You're in a small town. Say there's 400 houses there. There's some apartments, people living together, whatever. 400 houses in this town. What happens if you double the salary of every single person in that town? What do you think will happen to the prices of the houses? There's, let's just say, 50 houses on the market. There's 100 people looking. And everyone now has twice as much money to buy a house. You would immediately see the price of houses skyrocket. That's called inflation. That happens in every single market across the board. And as more people have more money, because more money has been printed, there is more money sloshing around, and people will essentially grab that money, right? If you double the amount of money in supply, well, that money is going to find its ways into the hands of everyday people, which are going to be buying stuff. And, well, when you have a limited amount of product, bidding happens. And, well, if you want a nice ribeye and there's only, 10 or 15 ribeyes at the grocery store, then at that point, you're fighting against the other red-blooded American trying to get that meat, and, they're going to outbid you. Prices are going to go up because they know there's a market for it. So I do want to get into, I got some, let's see, what do I got here? This is an interesting one. Vanguard suggests 70% bond and 30% stock portfolio for the next decade. It's better than holding money in a savings account. But that's about it. The bond market is such trash. I remember growing up, Granddad used to get you bonds. Granddad used to buy a bond and give it to their grandkids. Here's a $100 bond. Cash it in 10 years. It'll be worth $200. Man, what can you buy with $100 now, Also, legislation's coming. So we talk about it. Cynthia Lomas says, we will have market structure done this year. So there's one big bill that Cynthia Lamas has, and it's the Bitcoin Reserve. I think it's called the Bitcoin Reserve Act. I don't remember the exact term of it, but instructs the U.S. to buy 1 million Bitcoin over the course of 5 years. That's 250,000 Bitcoin, which is currently only available as over 100,000 Bitcoin on the OTC desks on the exchanges. So easily buyable Bitcoin is less than 250,000. But anyways, we got some bills coming down. So let's hear Cynthia Lummis.
We go back to work in the Senate on September 3rd. We are working market structure with the goal of having it out of committee, out of the Senate Banking Committee by the end of September. And then the Ag Committee, the Senate Ag Committee, hopefully will work their part of it, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission part of market structure, through the month of October. And we will have market structure to the president's desk before the end of the year. I hope it's before Thanksgiving. So that's our goal. So we will have market structure done this year. And
I talked about before, bull market will continue to 2026. Historically speaking, 4-year cycles should end right at the beginning of the year or the end of this year. Depends on where you decide to put the timeline. But this basically is signaling that the U.S., once again, is empowering banks and institutions to use crypto, incentivizing it. And so ask yourself, if all of the biggest companies, all the largest investors, all the retirement accounts get an exposure to crypto, particularly Bitcoin, and which will pour over into the altcoin markets, if that happens, what's it going to do for crypto? What's it going to do for altcoins? I'm telling you, it's glorious. It's about to get big. Also, take a listen to this.
There are 60 trillion worth of assets globally in retirement accounts with zero allocation right now to digital assets. Every 1% allocation from that 60 trillion adds $30,000 to Bitcoin's price. And so from my perspective, a 2% allocation would be conservative when you consider that all of those assets are currently in a monetary framework whose authorities have told you they want to depreciate it by 2% a year. So why wouldn't those accounts stake 2% of everything denominated in melting ice cube and stick it in another protocol altogether? So again, that alone would take us to Bitcoin at 175K, or up more than 50% from here. We still think we are incredibly early. We're still seeing early signs of institutional adoption. You look at Norges, the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, almost $2 trillion in assets, has been increasing its exposure to Bitcoin digital assets. It's still a rounding error for them. But when the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, the world's largest endowment in Harvard is now buying Bitcoin, starts to do it, that opens up the door for all the other relevant parties, other endowments, other sovereign wealth.
Remember, I want to remind you, we were at a new all-time high a week ago. $60 trillion worth of retirement funds have no investment in crypto. Zero. And then you also have okay, you know what? I was going to move on to some other news in crypto, but I want to get into I want to get into altcoins. I know I asked for some questions here, and so if you got any questions, also when we talk about altcoins, this would be a great time to throw some questions in as well. I'd love to hear you out there. Bia asked a question: when are you going to hand out some money to the chat? David's the one that hands out money. I don't have access to the company account. So come back tomorrow. David will be here. He'll be the one handing out money. I will instruct David to give some money out tomorrow. I want to be the most giving channel there is. That's right. Jim Beam says, where did they get Gina from? She's a solid financial advisor. Well, there you go. Very, very solid financial advice. You know what? If I had a money printer, I'd print my own money too. So, I mean, it is good advice.
I think we should max out all our credit cards and never pay them back.
You know what? If you buy Bitcoin, it's a better of the worst ideas. But yeah, there you go. So let's get into the markets. All right. So We did see that Bitcoin at 113.7. So as mentioned, seeing a little volatility. When you look, will we get a breakout? Is this? I think this is the local bottom here. I genuinely do. I think from this point, if I had to put a guess, I think we come back in tomorrow at 115.5. Not a big move, but I think we're back at this range here. I think that we climb back up to this range. I think that's where we're at tomorrow. And then take a look at altcoins. There's one big winner. It's OKB. OKB has been on straight fire. Now, you can blame it on manipulated token burn. There's a lot you can get behind on this, but the reality of it is that this thing just keeps occurring value dramatically in short little bursts, right? And so you look here or on the 7 days. So just 5 days ago, it was at $93. We've almost 2x'd that. Almost 2x'd in 5 days. You look at the 1 month, this just looks odd. Whatever. If you hold OKB, you don't really care about the rhyme or reason behind it. Bruh, from $40 to 160. It's a 4x in price. And that's over the span of 8 days. So in just over a week, you've 4x'd. I don't know if this is a good time to buy. It's just interesting. The reality of it is that OKB is at number 33 in the coin market cap list. So would this double again? I would say yes. And so if I had to put it in a position, I would say, hey, OKB, because you look down the list, where's your exchange tokens? You got BNB with over $100 billion market cap. It is the largest exchange globally, so Binance. So I don't think it'll get quite that high. You go down the list, you run into Kronos. This was a $4 billion market cap. I'd like to keep a close eye on Kronos. I've been a big fan of Kronos. I would say that, keep an eye on this one. The pump is coming for Kronos. It's a little risky. Could get left behind. But OKB's catching up quickly. It's at $3 billion market cap. I think this could get to about a $10 billion market cap. If it keeps doing what it's doing, the exchange behind the scenes is pulling the levers and make the price go up. Put it at a roughly $500 OKB. Buy it now and sell it $500. Not bad. Very interesting. All right, so let's get into some other big winners today. Aerodrome Finance, Virtuous Protocol, Pump.Fun. So interestingly enough, Aerodrome, Virtuous Protocol, doing very well. These are some of our channel's favorite picks. So we've talked about Aerodrome ad nauseum. This is something I think is going to shock people. This is at least a top 50 project. So I think that a $3 Aerodrome is baked into the Rob's that's going to happen probability. And then Virtuous Protocol, formerly all-time high at $4 and some change, got just about to $5. I think on some exchanges it might have got to $5. But either way, it's down. Something that's had a lot of movement. I think this will have a resurgence as well. Now, I came into this show and I said, hey, there's 3 altcoins that I adamantly believe in. What is going to make you the most money over the next 3.5 months by the end of the year? And for me, there's 3 clear-cut potential winners here. Number 1 is XRP. XRP for me is about as sure bet as there is. I see damn near no downside risk to XRP. Even if the bull market fails, XRP's price will hold strong. XRP has not dipped under $2 since the beginning of the year. And I don't think it's going to dip under $2 anymore. Now, there was a little blip on the radar, $1.80 there back in April. So could we see, even in worst case scenarios, a sub $2 XRP for a week? Yeah. But my kind of thesis here is that XRP doesn't drop under $2. But what I do think the upside is the same as that we saw the upside going into this year, was that we saw a 50-cent XRP go up above $3. Go up above in the shortest time period ever, from the beginning of November, from 50 cents to the end of November at over $2. 4x on a third largest crypto by market cap. I think we get a similar move. And it's not just speculation. It's not just, hey, the chart. Like, it's XRP has the largest altcoin community. Period. ETH is bigger. There's more utility on ETH, but let's be honest. How many Ethereum videos do you see out there on YouTube? How many people are over here talking about Ethereum all day long? No, people talk about XRP, man. You run into some random dude that holds crypto, there's a good chance he knows a lot about XRP. It's a big-ass community. On top of that, they're working with the banks. They have got the regulatory green light. Brad Garlinghouse has had repeated visits to the White House. And so RWAs is here. Stablecoins are here. XRP plays an integral part of that. Cynthia Lummis just said, hey, market structure bill coming out. Who is going to structure the markets? It's XRP, man. That's exactly what their whole selling point is that they're going to connect the banks and institutions, and they're going to connect them through Ripple using the XRP token. And Congress tried to shut them down, or SEC did, and they won. And that's in the past. Judge said it's not a security. It's like it literally has every blessing you would want for crypto, right? It's my number one pick, man. My number one pick. In regards to risk, I think there's just such little downside risk. If you look at similar market cap cryptos, you can make an argument that a lot of these could pull back dramatically. You can make an argument that ETH will go back down to $1,800 if bull market was over, which is not, by the way. It's not over. But if bull market happened to be over, if we were all wrong, including myself, and Bitcoin's price tumbles, doesn't come back for a while, where do you think Ethereum lands? $1,800? Probably. So I feel very confident on the price stability from XRP. From downside risk, it's not dramatic, and for upside risk, it's lucrative. I love it. And so you go down the list. I mean, everything here is gonna get pummeled on a bear market. So I don't know. I'm really loving XRP here. Now, my next pick, right down the street, my second favorite altcoin is Solana. So Solana is king. It's has the transactional throughput capabilities. It has the speed. It has venture capital. It has the dApps. It has the users. It has the exchanges. It has everything you would want. The blockbuster of altcoin layer ones is Ethereum. You remember when Netflix first came out and you're like, well, I don't want to wait for the movies to come in the mail. Like, I'd rather just go down to and then I got to return them, and, I scratched up the DVD, and then anyways. Blockbuster didn't immediately die like this. Video rental companies didn't die immediately. They slowly bled out. And that's what Ethereum is doing. It's not scalable. If you're going to be the internet protocol, right, for finance and value, and your whole thing is smart contracts and processing transactions, you better be quick, better be upgradable, better be reliable. Now, you can make an argument, Solana's not quite as reliable, but it has the other two. And so, for me, Solana, it has shown you in the past that once the markets heat up, it explodes. This is what Solana does. It went from $1 in 2020 to $40. And then it consolidated, cooled down, went from $20 to $200. And yet again, from $20 to $90, from $90 to $180. This is what it does. And each one of these big moves is represented by people using the product, institutions using the product, massive demand coming in on it. It's not speculative. It's not, oh, hey, Solana's fast, so hey, like, watch out, man. Like, now people are using it. Badass Daps, Jupiter is amazing. Radium, like, the list goes on and on. NFTs, like RWA, stable coins, it's all there. It's a better Ethereum. It's just as simple as that. I got another, listen, look at this one. If you haven't seen it, Bullish just went public last week. Massive IPO. They worked with Solana to raise $1.15 billion in stablecoins. So, their initial public offering raising $1.15 billion, which is a crazy amount of money to raise at launch. All coming from stablecoins for a publicly traded company. This transaction represents the first time stablecoins have been used at this scale in U.S. public offerings. Vast majority of the stablecoins were minted for Bullish on the Solana network. Why didn't they go with Ethereum? I'm curious. I'll let you draw that own conclusion. Here might be something. Finance at the speed of light. Not at the speed of, well, hopefully the transaction goes through. Like on ETH. Home of failed transactions, high gas fees, and unrealistic throughput. So, for me, I go back. Solana is going to get to $1,000 this bull market. It's going to get to $1,000. Adam says, when is that SOL ETF? I think it's October is the final deadline. So by the end of the year, which also coincides with my good returns. Flat Smack said, Rob sold all his ETH at the bottom. No, I sold it on the way down. I didn't buy back in, but I did say good time to buy was at sub $2,000. I changed my tune then. I was like, you know what? I think this thing bottomed out. Now, my last pick, I brought it up before. Y'all can make fun of me if you want. My last altcoin pick, where is she at? Way down the list. Old fart coin. Gotta go with my fart coin. Fart coin. You know what? This is yet another Solana play. It's the biggest meme coin launch after Solana's pullback. So meme coins are popping off. Meme coins were a thing. Donald Trump was launching meme coins. His wife was launching meme coins. Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, was Argentina? Anyway, Javier Milei, he was launching meme coins. It was Crazy. That was the top. It pulled back. This popped off afterwards. And it's gotten a lot of traction. And with these meme coins, a lot of times you see these consolidations. So, this is something that was around in November of last year. Got a little bit of buzz, right? Pulled back. It's consolidated. We shook out all the pretenders here at the 30 cents. I think Fartcoin is going to be the number one gainer in meme coins out of the list of top 100 right now. There isn't another meme coin I like here. I don't like Floki. I don't like Dog with Hat. Some of these will win. My money's here on Fartcoin, though. So there you go. What else do I got? Here's an interesting one. We'll get back into some articles. So you got New York lawmaker says stablecoins should not be exempt from crypto taxes. That's very interesting. New York State Assembly Phil Stex proposed that a 0.2% tax on all crypto transactions, like what's that for, to take place in New York. Funds will help schools combat substance abuse. Stablecoins will not be exempt. It was just, like, these people, they try to tax things they don't understand. Like, imagine having zero knowledge at all. You have zero knowledge in the medical field. And then all of a sudden you're just like, hey, you know what? We need to start taxing insurance premiums, and why don't we tax the prescription? Like, bro, you don't even know how it works. You don't know anything about it, and you're proposing a tax. Also, U.S. Treasury. So if you guys are looking to make some money or gain some clout, U.S. Treasury seeking innovative methods to detect illicit crypto activity. So the U.S. Treasury is seeking a public comment on innovative technologies like AI, blockchain monitoring, digital ID verification by October 17th. So if y'all have a fix for the government, government's calling on you to stand up and figure out how to find fraudulent crypto activity. If you got some ideas on that, contact your local U.S. Treasury office. Also, industry experts believe that the privacy and compliance can be balanced through zero-knowledge proofs. I agree with this. I think the answer here is zero-knowledge proofs. I don't think this is that complicated of an ask. Zero-knowledge proofs lets you transact crypto transactions without the transparency of them. And so, a little hard to explain how that fits into this, but it does. Also, they're going to take the feedback, throw it in a congressional report that could shape future crypto regulation. Crypto Steve says, one-man show. I should fly out to Vegas and co-host next time David is out. Yes, 100%. Absolutely. Crypto Steve-O, DM me, and we'll coordinate next time David's out of town. And then Polkadot. This is an interesting one. Polkadot launches capital markets division to court Wall Street. So Polkadot has launched Capital Group to connect traditional finance with blockchain ecosystem, focusing on tokenization and DeFi. So unveiled on Tuesday, Polkadot Capital Group was created in response to the rising institutional demand for digital assets, improving regulatory clarity in the United States. Division will showcase particular use cases in decentralized finance, staking, and RWAs. When all else fails, you go to RWAs. Everyone's doing staking. Everyone's doing finance. The next hot topic out here is RWAs. It is where the money's going, so you can't fault Polkadot for it. they've failed in a lot of their other endeavors, and well, they've squandered a lot of money on interesting investments. But yeah, Polkadot, they're going all in to Wall Street tokenization. So we'll keep an eye on them. I'm not a big Polkadot fan, but you never know, man. You can always turn things around. I'm not buying yet, but we're gonna keep a close eye on Polkadot. They're making ripples in the pond. All right. Also, 40% of UK crypto users report being blocked amid a rise of anti-consumer practices. So nearly half of UK investors face blocked or delayed payments from their banks, raising concerns that Britain is falling behind global rivals in digital assets. So very interesting here is that, we thought that we got past this, choke point 2.0 where banks are just closing accounts because, well, you're making money in crypto. I can say that myself personally, I've had some interesting difficulties with the banks when it came to crypto, and well, just simply taking my money and moving it to an exchange has been very hard for me at times. Failed transactions. So, but it's gotten better. I haven't had a failed transaction on a crypto on onboarding crypto or realizing profits in years. Well, in the last year. And so it's been nice. Regulation, it's working here in the U.S. and obviously doesn't seem to be working in the UK. So they surveyed 500 UK crypto investors and a broader 2,000 adults found that 40% of users had their banks either blocked or delayed. So I don't know. Interesting. And then also Robinhood is offering a sweep. And so Robinhood is expanding their crypto services. Speculation that a trading desk from Robinhood is coming. So will they offer leverage trading? I think it's an inevitability. Just curious on when that's going to happen. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got there on my end. Yeah, that's it. Do we got any more questions? What do we got? What do we got here? Let's see. What do we got in the question bank? I feel like most of y'all just talking crap. A lot of that happens on here. But all right, anyways, I'm not seeing any questions here. I probably missed a few. Running this thing solo. I can't always look it down at the chat for questions. But either way, I appreciate those of you that did chat it up today, put some stuff in the chat. Big shout out to all of you in the chat. Big shout out to the mods. Big shout out to all of you that are hanging around for this bull market. That's going to do it for today's show. And Gina, let's go. So we'll see you tomorrow. We do got David back on deck tomorrow. Sin City Crypto. We'll see what the price of Bitcoin. I'm still saying 115 tomorrow. We'll see what it comes in at. Until next time.
Sin City Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the